I thought that I might give some thoughts on the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Perhaps this is self-indulgent, but I also wanted to try to consider those who glory in his murder. I did not watch Charlie's content. I had already drifted to the right of TPUSA before I became aware of it. I have long been more on the Jared Taylor, millennial woes, etc. end of things. Does anyone remember This Week on the Alt-Right, with Mark Collett and Tara McCarthy? Campus conservatism seems a bit tame by comparison. Another reason I did not watch was the campus content. I find American students insufferable, and seeing them get destroyed with facts and logic seemed tiresome to me. Seen one, seen them all, from Shapiro to Kreider to D'Souza to Walsh. That being said, I believe that the campus content, the prove me wrong interactions, reveals Charlie to have been a good and genuine man. Nobody would subject themselves to debating hatchlings, shitlibs, SJWs, anti-whites, etc. if they were a bad person. I wouldn't do it, but he did it because it was not about him. He did not do it for his good, for his satisfaction. It was for the students and the audience, that some of them might be turned to the righteous path. It was a public service that only a good man could provide. Thus endeth the life of a good man. Now I shall speculate on what comes next. The assassin will go on trial, and I hope that the prosecution can use this opportunity to put on trial the anti-white, woke culture that puts the assassin at one end of the rifle and Charlie on the other. How nice it would be to get the woke mind virus prescribed as terrorist ideology, but I doubt that it will be attempted. As far as I know, IRA trials do not put Irish nationalism on trial. Jihadi trials do not put Islam on trial, etc. However, it would be nice to finally have a court of law formally define the left's rhetoric as hateful rhetoric. That might put the wind out of the sails of hate speech legislation in my country, if the law might actually punish the establishment. I also want to consider the left glorying in the murder. It is disgusting, but I want to be sure that I find it disgusting because it is, and not just because one of theirs got one of mine. The dehumanization of Charlie Kirk is what disgusts me, or rather, the conscious choice to dehumanize him. If a member of ISIS is killed, or Hamas, or the IDF, or the Russian army, or any other group, Antifa, the Proud Boys, etc., is killed, it is easy to dehumanize them. They do not exist outside of their group as such. The group identity comes first. They are not individuals in one's mind, so it can be easy to glory in their deaths if you despise their group. But Charlie was not a group, not some faceless member of a crowd or faction. He was a person, with a readily accessible face, name, voice, mannerisms, moods. In a sense you could, through his content, get to know him personally. It should be difficult to dehumanize him, so if you have, it is because you wanted to, and chose to. And why would you choose to dehumanize someone? Because you have already decided that you want him dead, and humanizing him could get in the way of that. That is what I find disgusting. These people love death and like it when people are killed. They want the kill and work backwards. We might dehumanize people and then we kill them. We are driven to it by degrees. We are driven, but they draw it to themselves. These people, in their hearts and minds, are already killers, if only they had the chance. And they don't care who they kill. They'll find a justification later, hence the lies about what Charlie was or what he said. These people like death and murder, they enjoy it. They would kill their own mothers. And what of the future? Will there be another killing? I think that the ostentatious celebrations on social media, plus the half-hearted, qualified condemnation for more respectable types, lowers the bar for it. I think of school shootings. Years ago, in Finland I think, someone did a school shooting with the expressed aim of being remembered as the one who shot up the school. That is a motivation among school shooters, but killing children is universally condemned. Killing Charlie was not universally condemned. And the next shooter might not only be remembered and hated, he could be remembered and loved. That is added incentive. When you incentivize something, you get more of it. Since Charlie was a kind of avatar of a political movement, and there are others like him, people like Douglas Murray or Stephen Crowder or Ben Shapiro or Tucker Carlson, killing another avatar will have clear continuity with the first killing. It will be a part of something bigger, a crusade, a jihad. We're into the psychology of terrorists and not crazed gunmen. I think that if the body count goes to 2 in future, then it will be easier to go from 2 to 3 than from 1 to 2 or 0 to 1. The trial will be very important, I think. The leftist culture is a product of power, political, financial, media, and is therefore totally dependent on power to sustain it. If the trial can formally put power on notice that they are accountable for their extremists, then we will see fewer extremists. Often big changes happen only after a catastrophe. It is the nature of man to do nothing until forced. For years it was known that the Formula One cockpit had an inherent danger with the driver's head being exposed. Felipe Massa was almost killed when debris struck his helmet one year, but it was only after Jules Bianchi was killed were the cockpit shields put in. How many accidents, terrorist plots, assassinations occur, and then we learn afterwards that they were so predictable, that people had warned about it, that warnings were ignored, evidence was not interpreted correctly, patterns were not recognized, communication broke down along the way, all leading to a completely avoidable disaster, and only then do people do what they ought to have been doing in the first place. Perhaps Charlie is the avoidable disaster, and things will change now. Maybe the change he sought to bring in life will come in death. Because if they get away with this, they being the people who made the shooter, who's next?